A franchise icon, once loved and seemingly untouchable, casted aside on one of the biggest surprises in recent NBA history. And on the other side, a generational talent who claims he was quietly betrayed by the team that promised him loyalty. No one saw this coming. Yet here we are. This is the story of how Anthony Davis joined forces with the Dallas Mavericks, leaving the basketball world completely shocked and fans wondering, did Mavs just strike gold, or did they just gamble everything on a ticking time bomb? It all started with a sudden barrage of breaking news alerts, social media meltdowns, and a stunned reaction from both fans and players. Reporters couldn't believe it. Insiders were scrambling for answers, and nearly every basketball forum exploded with theories about how this blockbuster deal came together. Overnight, the NBA's balance of power felt like it had shifted. Most people assumed the Dallas Mavericks were fully committed to Luka Doncic. He was the face of the franchise after all, a generational playmaker many believed was just entering his prime. But as rumors took shape and official statements trickled in, it became crystal clear that the Mavericks had pivoted to a new plan, a laser-focused pursuit of Anthony Davis. As you could tell, fans didn't take this well. Fans were in disbelief enough to even protest. Speculation spread that Dallas had been plotting a move for months, but kept things under tight wraps to avoid a bidding war, which in my opinion still doesn't really make sense. Once the trade was finalized though, excitement and outrage flowed in equal measure across both fan bases. But the real fireworks were only the beginning.
Right now, but what was it like being out there for your first shoot around?
It was great. I already know some of the guys, some of the coaches. Unfortunately, I can't play tonight. I'm excited to get on the floor with these guys though, but it was a great shoot around.
By the time the news sank in, all eyes were on AD. Some claimed he was stunned, blindsided by the very franchise that had promised to build around him. Davis admitted he was shocked at first.
Obviously, it was shocking just because I didn't know, but after the shock factor wore off, then I knew it was time to get to Dallas, get to the physical, see the doctors, and then get ready to get back to get on the floor with these guys.
Reports actually show that AD was concerned with the Lakers roster once LeBron retired. Regardless, beneath the surprise, there was optimism that hinted at like a fresh start, that maybe this move was for the better. When AD finally stepped onto the court as a Maverick, he showed everyone how dominant he could be. 26 points, 16 rebounds, and a few blocks in just 3 quarters, showcasing exactly why Dallas had to pull the trigger on him. But then, just like something we're all familiar with, AD was hit with an injury. He left the game in the third quarter, nursing what was described as a groin issue, and suddenly, Mavs fans got all too familiar with the AD experience. Brilliant highs overshadowed by the fears of what comes next. But the Mavericks had to have known the risk before making a move this bold. So why would Dallas roll the dice on a player known for both amazing skill and an injury list that looks longer than a CBS receipt? One word: relationships. The new Mavericks GM, Nico Harrison, has a history with AD that goes back way since the high school days, when Nico Harrison was at Nike and AD was a rising star in national hoop camps. The bond apparently gave him the confidence to make a move that few others would never do. Nico Harrison's admiration for Davis runs deep, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And Dallas has always needed that defensive anchor, a big, skilled presence who could shift momentum at the rim. And honestly, I'd love Gafford, but we all know that AD plays his best at the 4. According to insiders, Nico Harrison was so sold on Davis that he called in every favor he had, bypassing what could have been a bidding war in order to secure the deal. Was it risky? Yeah, sure. But in his eyes, he thought this was the type of move that he wanted to pursue to win now.
We've had a vision in the culture that we want to create since we've been here. And the players that we're bringing in, we believe exemplify that. Defense wins championships, and we're bringing in one of the best two-way players in the league.
What's been your experience and your vibe out on the road so far as you get ready to play your first game?
Yeah, the vibes are high. Energy is great. I like our team. I like the way the guys are playing.
But what about the fallout from LA? The team AD left behind. That's when things get even more interesting. When rumors of the potential Anthony Davis trade first surfaced, people assumed it was just gossip. There was absolutely no way the Lakers would move their all-star big man, right? But behind the scenes, tension seemed to be building. Bron's loyal fan base wasted no time throwing jabs, implying that AD was never fully committed to the grind, that he was overly fragile, or that the Lakers simply needed to just move on before it was too late.
I haven't heard from you yet. What have the last few days been like for you as the team trades away Anthony Davis and others for Luka?
It's been a whirlwind, so I can only imagine, or I can't even imagine, how Luka and AD and Max Christie and Maxi Kleber, and obviously Hood Shafino was one of our teammates as well. So it's been challenging for sure, especially for me. Anytime I've had 6 years with AD, win a championship with my guy. Obviously one of my best friends, obviously. So, it's a business, and you understand that. It's a business of basketball. We understand that, and I know he's going to do well down there in Dallas.
One thing is clear: the relationship seemed strained, and the Lakers' plans for the LeBron era felt unknown. Once AD was officially dealt, a wave of questions swamped the sports world. Did AD force his way out? Did LA push him out the door? Or did both parties simply see the writing on the wall? Then again, Davis wasn't the only big name in Dallas with championship aspirations. As soon as AD landed in Dallas, the rumor mill kicked into overdrive about this new duo with Kyrie Irving. These two superstars, after all, apparently talked about teaming up way back in 2018 when Kyrie was still in Boston. But as we know, life, the NBA, and countless unforeseen twists prevented it until now. On paper, the possibilities seem endless. Kyrie Irving's elite ball handling and shooting, paired up with AD's freakishly two-way prowess. Imagine the high pick and roll sets, the perimeter pacing, the unstoppable post-ups, and the defensive intimidation around the rim. Skeptics, however, can't help but point out the potential realities. Kyrie obviously has his own history of unpredictability, and we already went over the deal with AD. He's essentially sometimes just made of glass. If they click, the Mavericks might ascend to superteam status. If things go south, Dallas could be left with a colossal, massive amount of contracts and a fleeting window for contention. But there's another angle to this story, one the Mavs keep emphasizing. Despite the glamour and allure of a highlight reel offense, the Dallas front office has been making one thing perfectly clear. They believe defense wins championships. That's where AD comes in. When healthy, he arguably is one of the top defensive anchors in the league, capable of truly guarding 1 through 5s. This, the Mavericks' hope, is their secret weapon in an NBA that is loaded with elite scorers. If AD could hold down the paint and inspire the rest of the roster to step up defensively, they have a real shot at dominating in ways that simply haven't been possible for them in recent years. But the question looming over everyone is whether AD can maintain that role without missing large chunks of the season. And that question became painfully relevant almost immediately. Unfortunately, the injury narrative returned the very moment AD made his Mavericks debut. After a monster performance for 3 quarters, he exited with a reported groin issue, leaving fans in a stunned silence. Then came the concerning update. NBA insider Shams indicated that AD's injury might be more serious than initially believed and that he could miss extended time. Just like that, the anxiety of Mavericks fans soared through the roof. Some see it as proof that the man nicknamed Day-to-Day Davis is doomed to repeat the same cycle of dominance and downtime. Others argue that his prior setbacks were mostly freak accidents, impossible to predict or prevent. Either way, the Mavericks' future depends heavily on AD staying healthy. If he does, they might reach new heights. If not, this monumental trade could go down as one of the most short-sighted gambles in franchise history. But Davis isn't the only big name whose future shifted in this blockbuster deal. While all eyes remain fixed on AD in Dallas, there's another superstar who quietly packed his bags for a fresh start in LA, Luka Doncic. Fans are still wrapping their heads around the idea that the Mavericks actually gave up on a potential face of the league talent. Some insiders claimed it was just about Luka's supposed conditioning issues. What's certain is that Dallas turned the page on a generational player, putting all of their hopes on the table for AD. Could Luka thrive in LA the way Davis aims to flourish in Dallas? Or did the Mavs offload a budding legend just before he entered his prime? The next few seasons will either vindicate or condemn this dramatic move as each franchise grapples with its new star, which leads us into the final burning question. On one hand, AD has the makings of a championship cornerstone, a top-tier two-way threat, years of big game experience, and renewed motivation away from LeBron's shadow. On the other side, his injury history sends caution flags across the league. We all know it. Dallas has gone all out on the hope that AD's brilliance can outshine this looming risk, and that this partnership with Kyrie Irving can deliver a new era of Maverick glory. Was this a brilliant idea by Nico Harrison, capitalizing on personal connections and reuniting AD with a coach who knows him well? Or did the Mavericks just sacrifice a generational talent in Luka Doncic for a star whose health seems perpetually in question? Let me know what you think in the comments. The Dallas just craft the next NBA powerhouse, or are they setting themselves up for heartbreak? Whatever happens next, one thing's certain. This trade has already changed the league's balance of power. And as both franchises embark on a completely new chapter, the rest of us can only watch and wonder who will have the last laugh. Remember to subscribe for more updates on the ever-evolving NBA landscape, and let's stay tuned, because in this league, surprises are always lurking around the corner.